crime scene?
If I may, I can count on one hand how many crime scenes I've seen in my life, and although they are somewhere I don't wish to spend too much time, as the representative of Lloyd's of London Bank, it is my responsibility to handle all matters regarding the now stolen painting.
A weak attempt, but I've got more on my plate than dealing with some paper pusher getting his knickers in a twist. You've got until I return to do whatever it is you need to do.
You may question my authority in this case, but I will not have my professionalism questioned.
Whatever you say.
Aha. Ah. Oh. Huh. Huh. Aha. Huh. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh. Hmm. Oh. From analyzing the victim's body, I can conclude that the cause of death was not dead by the flames.
Not by the flames? Then what?
That is what we are yet to determine.
Huh. Oh. Ah. Aha. Aha. Oh. Ah. Huh. Huh. Aha. Aha.
Hot on the culprit's heels. I should consider this. The evidence suggests. Come, my little Grace. One step closer.
오. 음.
Didn't you speak with her neighbor before? Might.
Is it that copper again? What do you...
I was hoping to ask you some questions regarding.
You aren't coming in. You can get that into your head now.
Merci, Madame Colcham.
She hardly had any visitors, but yesterday it was like she had a sign up offering out free ale.
If you would be so kind as to talk us through the events as you remember them.
Well, I saw her leaving with a couple of paintings under her arm. You've seen her work? Not really my cup of tea. Then there was that posh-looking chap. I heard him before I saw him. Like an elephant on those stairs. Next came the professional-looking fella. He's got some money in those pockets, that's for sure. Oh, and the argument with another man? I couldn't hear what it was all about.
You are doing a wonderful job, Madame Colcham.
You can keep the patronizing tone. She must have turned her radio up to disguise what they were saying. But I tell you this, I'd rather have listened to them than that racket. It wasn't long before he was storming down the stairs.
Would you be able to remember any other details of the gentleman?
Through this people, you can barely tell who's man and woman. I didn't hear her leave, but when I heard that door downstairs slam, I knew it was... I opened my door and gave her what for. And you know what she did? She waved me off, bottle of bubbles in hand. Only after did she turn the radio down. I wasn't going to wait. I was getting right into the exciting bit of my book. Perkins, and then you lot.
Merci, Madame. You have been most accommodating.
Oh, and I found this in the garden. It's obvious.
The cork from a champagne bottle. It would not be a giant leap to assume this came from Mademoiselle Kortsmith's apartment. A smell lingers on the cork.
Merci.
Something just... This will not get me any closer. I cannot see the logic in this. Order and method. Where is the sense in that? I must act on. Come now. Is there something? I must take a diff. The evidence suggests something. Come now. The pieces of the puzzle are finally come.
Huh. Oh.
Monsieur Hastings, of course. Almonds? I've never had champagne that tasted of almonds.
One would hope not. Mademoiselle's lips.
It wasn't an accident. It was set on purpose, using turpentine to douse any evidence of them being there, and the forgery.
An almost perfect execution, had we not
But why try and get rid of the necklace?
spoken like a true detective.
What can I do for you?
From analyzing the victim's body, I can conclude that the cause of death was not dead by the flames.
Not by the flames. Then what?
That is what we are yet to determine.
What can I do for you? Mr. Poirot, you are a genius. What can I do for you? That would never have even occurred to me. I've got a lot to learn. What can I do for you? That would never have even occurred to me. What can I do for you?
Let us get back to...
I should consider this. I must take a different approach. Come, my little grape. Something just... I cannot see the logic in this. What a revelation. This will not get... Where is the sense in that? Is there something I am... Logical thinking. Order and method. I must act on thought. I must take a different... Magnifique. Come, my little grey cells. Where is the sense in that?
아,
What do you need? I don't know if I'm cut out for this.
Take your time. Consider.
Okay, firstly, we know that she had a number of visitors and an argument with one of them. Among these visitors, one left with a painting. Perhaps a.
Très bien.
Irene wasn't drinking alone, and whoever she was drinking with likely poisoned her. The killer used a syringe to inject a liquid form of the poison through the cork and into the.
Potassium cyanide. Traces of the compound can be found in nature, but dangerous levels, such as those present, can be detected by its notable almond smell.
And she fell victim shortly after in her chair. Of course, the painting. Irene had made forgeries of the penitent Magdalene painting and was likely selling them for a pretty penny, I might add. What are you going to tell him?
The truth. He may hope for a simple and somewhat convenient version of events, but he cannot ignore the facts that we shall present.
My crime scene still intact?
Of course, Detective Inspector.
There's nothing more to say.
Pardon, Detective Inspector. The truth is that Mademoiselle Irene Court Smythe.
Right you are. I'll be sure to make a note.
But you won't.
Excuse me? Are you forgetting that...
He is well aware of your authority and your capability of coming to the same conclusion. We only wish to inform you of our findings.
Well, my men have been in, as have I, and I've concluded that the mademoiselle, as you so elegantly called her, made off with the painting and decided to have a few drinks to celebrate. She passed out drunk in the chair, candle still lit, and the place went up like a match.
Detective Inspector, s'il vous plaît. It is rude.
Who are you calling simple?
He's not calling you simple, he's saying that isn't how it happened. How can you ignore the bottle of champagne that had been tampered with? The smell of poison on the cork.
You're both experts in poison now, are you?
I do not wish to stand here and argue credentials. Mademoiselle Court Smythe was killed, not by the fire that burned through her home, but at the hands of another. Her drink, laced with potassium cyanide.
Quite the imagination.
Look, we can show.
No. We shall leave the Detective Inspector to discover the truth for himself. Detective, adieu. Monsieur Hastings, you must learn which battles are worth the fight. Besides, we have no time to stand squabbling with him. We have a murder to solve.
That was quite a night. I feel exhilarated, yet exhausted. Triumphant at what we have discovered.
It is being able to control those emotions and still see the bigger picture that separates the best detectives from those that merely like the thought of such responsibility.
So do you think it must have been one of the guests at the gala?
An accomplice disguised as a guest turned murderer. A master criminal they may appear to be, but they have...
I think I just felt a chill.
Now we must speak with the guests of the gala again, as well as find Monsieur Christiansen, who has continued to evade my questions. I have no doubt one or more of them will hold the answers we require regarding the death of Mademoiselle Courtsmith. Mademoiselle, do you have a moment to spare?
Of course, Detective. I'm hoping you have some good news for me. Goodness. You've found the painting, haven't you?
A painting was recovered. A forgery, but it was damaged by the fire.
What on earth are you talking about? Forgery? Fire?
It ran rampant through Mademoiselle Courtsmith's apartment.
She's dead. She would never be so. But with all of those flammable paints and... No!
Mademoiselle Warbeck appears quite distraught at the news.
I respected her as an artist and a friend.
I do not wish to push Mademoiselle Warbeck too far while in such a state. But
Perhaps, as a friend, she let slip of her plans.
Her plan for what? Stealing the painting? Making a forgery? Do you really think I'd let her do that?
She must have had help from someone she trusted.
If she did, it wasn't me she confided in. I've been here trying to calm down the trustees.
You did not leave the museum?
I was here until the early hours. After the meeting, I wrote a letter to my father. I wanted his advice on what to do. It's just all so... Excuse me, gentlemen. I must go and make a phone call to an artist. I shan't be long.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all.
Ah. Huh. Oh.
Monsieur Aylesworth.
Ah, a detective that actually seems to be doing something to find my painting. What can I do for you? Quite well, thank you.
The infirmary discharged.
With a clean bill of health. I didn't want to wait around using up valuable resources.
An honorable jet.
I was straight off to the House of Commons. I take it you haven't read today's newspaper?
I'm afraid I have had more pressing matters.
It certainly makes for an interesting...
I was not aware reporters were permitted inside the house.
They aren't. I left and went to the London Illustrated News office. I gave my... I can't for the life of me remember the chap's name. Anyway, you're a busy man. I'd hate to take up too much of your time.
It does not take a great detective to pick up on Monsieur Aylesworth's ever so subtle hint.
Is this about the insurance claim? It was merely a necessary precaution. I'm sure with you on the case, it won't be long before it's returned.
I do not doubt my abilities to return the painting, but I question why he felt it necessary to talk. It would not surprise me to learn of him using his
I assume you saw the article in the paper.
Oui, monsieur. If...
Oh, the people must know what I stand for. I'm here for them.
I will not take up any more of your time.
Bartholomew! Here, puss, 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 puss. Where are you? Bartholomew! Enough now! Out you come! I'm sorry, I just don't have time to talk now. I have to find Bartholomew.
Have you placed a missing persons report?
Really, Detective? Bartholomew is the church cat. I think a missing persons report might be a little overboard.
I am sure with our assistance we shall find him in half the time. And then, perhaps you will have time to answer my questions.
Fine. All that matters now is that we find him. His name is Bartholomew, and I'd appreciate it if you spoke of him as such.
Pardon.
Better. Well, you see, the poor creature took an interest in my easel. He leapt up, knocking over some of my supplies, and gave himself a fright. He bolted out of sight, and I've not...
Merci.
Huh. Aha. Aha. 아. 오. 오.
I should consider this further. I must act on. answer was staring me in the face.
Monsieur Hastings, of course. What can I do for you? That would never have even occurred to me. I've got a... What can I do for you?
Merci.
Huh.
What do you need? What can I do? What can I do for you?
Merci.
Yes, Thomas, one of my parishioners, would usually have sorted that for me. But he decided this weekend, of all weekends, was the best time to holiday to Margate.
Where did you say the glass was broken?
The easel. I was painting, and Bartholomew was obviously in a boisterous mood and knocked over the water jar.
Merci.
What do you need? What can I... What can I do for you?
Merci. Merci.
Voilà. This will not get... The evidence suggests something. Something just does not. Is there some... Things are beginning to become clear. I should not be surprised by my own. I cannot see the logic in this. Come now. Another success.
What do you need? What can I do?
I question whether the bishop's version of events is accurate. Perhaps he threw the glass jar at Bartholomew because he was on the altar.
I know that's how it looks, but I can't imagine someone being so cruel. What tells us where the cat ran to next? Borrow, you are a genius. How can we know where the cat ran to next? Borrow, you are a genius.
Oh. Huh.
I didn't.
Merci.
What do you need? What can I do?
Merci.
아,
Bonjour, madame. Do you have a moment to... something?
You bet something's happened! That slime bag! How...
I'm sure he didn't mean.
That's it! I give up. I'm done with this acting.
Take a deep breath. One man's opinion, and a wrong one at that, is not.
You're right. Let him think what he wants.
Very impressive, Monsieur Hastings.
Is there something I can help you, but you do know what I do, don't you?
I did not mean to.
Zach. He was there. You two seemed pretty friendly. He'll tell you.
Monsieur Demire and Mademoiselle Babagne. Together.
Oh, he's already seen it. I told him he didn't have to come.
A supportive husband.
Yeah. Your guess is as...
It is most important that...
Then you've got a missing painting and a missing husband on your hands, because I haven't... Look, I don't think...
Mademoiselle Court Smythe was found murdered last night.
Okay.
I thought perhaps the news would be a.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't really want to hear about anyone dying, but...
Madame Allen's nonchalant.
You have been most helpful.
What do you need? That sounds rather ominous.
I would not ask you to do something I would not consider doing.
What do you need me to...
Madame Hélène, you must hold...
I certainly can. Mrs. Allen, that photograph... What do you need?
Merci.
Gentlemen, what can I do for you?
I was hoping to speak with Mademoiselle Farquhar.
I'm afraid she already has her hands full with the story. Unless you've come with a... Perhaps another time, gentlemen. Perhaps another... Perhaps an... Let's not be so hasty.
Gentlemen, what can I do for you?
This is your office. It's very impressive.
Mademoiselle, would you have time to answer some questions?
I don't really have time right now. Perhaps we...
I assure you I shall remain focused on my questions well.
Fine. Is she all right?
I'm afraid not.
Heavens, how awful.
I do not believe so. And her parents have both passed also.
A question I did not expect. Although it...
I only met her recently in a profession.
I cannot say, but they may not be as forthcoming with her work.
I'm sorry, Detective.
Mademoiselle Court Smythe was behind the painting's disappearance, and a forgery was discovered in her apartment.
So she stole the original and made a forgery?
That we asked.
Am I a suspect?
We are just trying to gather all the information. Isn't that right, Poirot?
Oui, that is correct.
I'm sorry. I was working late into the evening yesterday. There was probably someone still around in the office if you wanted to check. Really? I must have been so busy not to notice him. At least you can be sure of where I was.
Was there anyone else present?
If Mr. Aylesworth was there, Nathaniel, my editor, must have been.
It strikes me as rather strange that Mademoiselle does not recall seeing such an important figure in the office. I shall speak with the editor.
Merci, mademoiselle. That...
What do you need? What can I do for you?
Merci. Voila. Your Grace, now that Bartholomew has...
As my way of... Very well. I hope that comes from an inquisitive nature rather than a place of accusation.
You mean Mademoiselle Warbeck?
Who else? She's running that museum.
And following the meeting?
I returned to the church to prepare for Compline prayers.
You don't think?
I got the feeling that someone had followed me from the museum. I never saw them, but I know what I felt. None. I knew her merely by reputation. Do you want to tell me what all these questions are about?
Mademoiselle Court Smythe was murdered last night.
If you plan on being the bearer of such news, perhaps you should think of going about it with a little more civility. How did the young...
There was a fire in her apartment, although it wasn't the flames that took her life.
Arson and poisoning.
Bishop Mountjoy claims he barely knew Mademoiselle Court Smythe, but still showed a level of empathy I was...
Oh, heavens be!
I can only assume his delayed excitement came from being off guard.
If your Grace would allow me to finish, a forgery of it was found in Mademoiselle Court Smythe's apartment, but it was destroyed in the fire.
She was the thief all along? A forgery? You mean she made a copy of it?
It appears that way.
I will rightly light a candle for her soul this evening.
Huh. Oh.
It looks like she was telling the truth after all.
About composing the letter, oui.
What's all this other stuff? I don't think it's from the letter to have...
It seems we have stumbled across the names and address. We have gathered all the information we can from
Betty's husband, Mr.
Oui. We are now in...
What do you need? What can I... What do you need? What can I do?
Merci.
Aha.
Voila. And
Remind me why we've lied our way into a man's apartment while he's not here?
Monsieur Christensen was accused of harassing a young lady who has now been murdered. And he has not. Does that not.
Do you really think he could.
I believe everyone is capable, under the right circumstances, while we have no suspect to question.
Oh. Ah. Huh. Huh. Oh. Aha. Oh. Huh. Oh.
Monsieur Hastings, of course. What can I do?
Monsieur Christiansen was at the scene of the crime smoking with Mademoiselle. Could he be the holder of the original Penitent Magdalene painting?
Gentlemen, you're back.
Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Detective Hercule Poirot of the Kingdom of Belgium's police force.
You should have led with that before. Nathaniel Dryden, editor of the London Illustrated News.
My apologies. I was not aware of your position on our initial...
That's quite all right. You were still more polite. What can I do for you? I did, but that was supposed to be an exclusive.
It is a detective's job to know such things.
Doesn't really explain how, but okay. He said he had something to tell me that was going to blow... Indeed, she was. Although she was...
At no point did she...
She's a very hard worker and won't leave until the story is... She had photographs to develop. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but I haven't... This place is usually full of all sorts that think they have a story. I was meaning to mention that to Florence, actually.
Mention what?
A young foreign girl came in asking about a piece that was on show at the museum.
Did she say why she was so interested?
She said she was researching its journey from its first home with an affluent family. No doubt into another exhibition some.
Could this inquisitive young woman have been Mademoiselle Babagna? But why so curious about that part?
Merci.
Ah, Poirot. Good to see you.
The feeling is mutual, Monsieur Demire.
Nah, you and your formality.
Is everything all right?
Miss Farquhar is interviewing Betty. I heard about Irene.
Who told you that?
It doesn't take long.
I would appreciate some discretion between friends.
Anything I can help with? I won't take offense, as I know you're just doing... I attended the evening performance of...
She accompanied you.
She was at a loose end after the gala. Don't worry, I'm not here to tread on any toes. I mean, he can...
You do not think particularly...
I've never had a problem with him before. I just... Look, he was trying to sell me a lucrative business opportunity. A way we could both...
Did you take him up on his...
God, no. When someone offers you something that sounds too good to be true, it usually is. That was some week...
bragging is a sign of overconfidence. And,
You know, at first I found...
I shall accept that as...
If it wasn't for the detective here,
You have lived a life many of us have only heard about in stories. A life that we all...
I second that.
Your family must be proud of the man you have become. I will not take up any more of your time. I do not mean to...
Then perhaps you should wait until we...
What do you need? What can I do?
I will... Bonjour, mademoiselle. Is everything all right? Do not worry. It will...
It's not that. I just cannot understand.
I'm sorry, mademoiselle. I do not have the...
No, I'm sorry. Well, after it was all cut short,
Oui, mademoiselle?
Mr. Demir and myself. Oh, I wasn't aware Mr. Hastings was to be the focus of Florence's article.
On the contrary, it is only one of many she took at the gala.
Would you believe I found it? Amazing how...
And you were intending on...
Of course! It just...
Mademoiselle Kortsma, no longer requires it.
Yes, and it was something that I wanted to speak with, but it was one that I'd read had been stolen. He couldn't... Well, it didn't sit well with me. So... I stayed well back, and the bishop is hardly the most... I followed him into his church, but he was gone.
He is a man of God, not...
I don't know what to say. He wasn't there. I decided to wait outside, but when...
You have been most helpful, mademoiselle.
What do you need? What can...
I will not... I do not mean to interrupt.
Then perhaps you should.
I do not mean.
Then perhaps you.
I do not.
Then.
아하. 아. 오. 하. 음. 아. 하.
What do you need? What can I will.
아하. 오. 아.
Sacred. What is...
It would be my pleasure.
You have been most helpful. I do not mean to.
Then perhaps you.
Mademoiselle Farquhar,
I'm in the middle.
I really.
That was incredibly unprofessional, Detective.
If we are to discuss professionalism, perhaps we should talk about your work with Mademoiselle.
I think you've got me confused with.
Enough, Mademoiselle. It is time for the truth.
You don't think I was involved?
Please do not feign ignorance, Mademoiselle. Where did Mademoiselle receive her inspiration to make her? I remind you that I stand before you as a detective.
Poirot, maybe we should.
Monsieur Hastings, if Mademoiselle Farquhar requires someone to speak in her defense, she can come.
That won't be necessary. She asked me to photograph certain pieces of art, that's all. I have no idea. I thought
Your career does not appear to need the help of a
she had such confidence. She knew all the right.
And she got exactly what
I was financially dependent on her. She paid for the lifestyle that I had found myself in.
Couldn't you have just said no to her?
And risk her exposing me for what I had done. She was the one holding all the cards. I had no other choice but to do what she said.
Merci, mademoiselle. I am sorry to have it.
By the looks of it, what you were saying.
Perhaps we should stick to. You have been.
What do you need? What can...
I would.
It would be my...
You have been most.
오. 아하. 오. 하. 아.
You're just full.
You have been.
Huh.
It would be my pleasure.
You have been most...
아,
What do you need? What... I will not...